Welcome back. All right, so 8 games in the NHL tonight. Pretty busy night around the NHL. And some still high scores. We're still seeing a lot of goals since the return to hockey. I'm not complaining at all. I think it makes for some good, exciting hockey. I think some of the mistakes we're seeing here and there, that makes for a more exciting game. Even if it causes goals against the team you're cheering for, which, yeah, sometimes that's going to happen. All right, first up, New Jersey in against Boston. Now, we knew that New Jersey was undermanned going into this game, right? I think New Jersey played as well as can be expected considering how undermanned they are. Now, they're not the only undermanned team in the NHL, absolutely. And Boston had a rough few games when they were undermanned themselves. It's Blackwood versus Ullmark. I don't think tonight's game is going to make Bruins fans feel great about Ullmark either. And I know Ullmark can be a very good goaltender. I saw it in Buffalo. So there's a press by the Devils at 2 minutes. However, the Bruins score first. It's Lazar scoring at 2:53. 1-0 Boston. And at 4 minutes, the shots are 5-1 in favor of the Boston Bruins. So pretty good start for the Bruins, right? Nosek can't tip one in. The Devils press at 7 minutes. There's a press done by the Bruins with 9.5 minutes left. Johnson takes a puck to the face. I have to stay with Andreas Johnson, who's asked to be called Johnson. So up here we got the Jack Edwards feed, the Nesson feed. And Jack Edwards says at the start that he knew that he wants to be called Johnson, but they're just going to call him Janssen because of his Toronto days. And I'm like, really? That's interesting. So the Bruins not giving the Devils any room at this point. Frederick has a chance to save. The Bruins are in control. I thought Frederick might have played his best game offensively in a while. Devils without a shot for 8+ minutes. Then Kuokkanen and Mercer both ended that. They were denied on a rush. Kuokkanen first, then Mercer. Bruins press with 2.5 minutes left. There's almost a goal for Bergeron there. He's denied. And things get kind of scrummy between these teams at the horn. So it's 1-0 Boston going into the second. Bastian anticipates a pass, kind of a lazy pass at the New Jersey blue line, and he makes Boston pay at 57 seconds. He scores on a breakaway. Steen, though, gets one of the weirdest goals I've ever seen, where the puck's on the top of the net. He kind of sticks it off of there. I didn't know that he necessarily touched it before it went in the net. I was like, so does he directly touch the puck? So it bounces off the back of Blackwood and into the net. It's one of those weird goals. We had some of those today. Steen scores that from Foligno and Forbert at 1:17. So it only stayed tied for 20 seconds, I should say. So yeah, off the top of the net and then Blackwood. However, New Jersey fights back. Tatar scores from Hughes and Bratt at 3:05. Kuokkanen then tries for another. McAvoy with a wraparound chance. That's blocked. The Devils were controlling the play at the 8-minute mark. I thought they had a very good period going until Frederick banks one in off Blackwood from Lazar at 9:42. So that's 2 weird goals for Boston. And just bad luck for Blackwood. And when this is something, I asked this on Twitter. I'm going to ask this here in the review. It feels like there's more times now where players who are behind the goal line just fling it at the net. Going, well, if I can bank it in off the goaltender, great. And it's working. So I don't know if this is a case of goalies playing off the post and maybe not being careful enough that this guy behind the net might try to put it in, or if players are just being more creative and goaltenders are being victimized on it. But it's interesting. Then there was a puck to the face on Mercer because every Devils player is going to get a puck in the face at some point. Now, Johnson's wasn't as bad as Mercer's looked, but, you know, yeah, that seems to be a thing right now with New Jersey, and, you know, it sucks for Devils fans right now. Tatar and Bratt were then denied on a rush. There's a power play for the Devils. Good shorthanded chance for Bergeron, and Boston kills it off. Pastrnak was then denied in close, and we go to the third period with the score 3-2 in favor of Boston. Early puck control went to Boston as well. Bergeron to Marchand. Near miss on that. Power play then for the Bruins. Good shorthanded play by McLeod. Very strong play by him. Pastrnak then whiffs on a chance. And then, out of the box, Severson gets the goal from McLeod at 7:36. So Severson, who takes his share of penalties, makes up for it on this play and ties the game. Hughes then had a rush chance that was saved, and I could kind of feel this foreboding of maybe New Jersey's going to win this. However, Pastrnak scores from Hall and Howla at 14:11. The Devils then press for the tie with 1 minute and 46 seconds left. They pull the goaltender. That allows the Bruins to play it a little bit. They end up with a face-off in the New Jersey zone, so they have to put the goalie back in. And Carlo scores from Nosek with the goalie back in at 19:37. So Boston wins this one 5-3. They go to 17-10-2. New Jersey drops to 13-6-5. Their winning streak is done. Your shots in this one, 10-6 Boston in the first, 15-11 Boston in the second. Both teams had 9 shots in the third. Final shots, 34-26 for Boston. Both teams 0 for 1 on the power play. Not really a factor. Hits, 29-25 for Boston. Blackwood saves 29 out of 34. 2 weird goals tonight on him. And Ullmark saves 23 out of 26. And again, if you are of the belief that Ullmark's not good enough, I don't think tonight's game necessarily changes that narrative. We're still waiting on when Tuukka Rask's going to sign. It looks like that contract's going to get signed soon. It's January, so it sounds like he's pretty close to ready, so that contract has to be signed soon, and it's just a matter of making it all work. All right, next up on the board, Florida and Calgary. So Calgary, very good on the road, but Florida's deadly at home, and Florida's starting to roll again. I know when they went into their dip that they had, and every team goes into that there was some concern about, well, that's it. You know, Florida's going to fall out of the playoffs. Didn't happen. And I don't think it's going to either. So it's Markstrom versus Bobrovsky in this one. Dubé with a rush chance that's defended. A good start for Calgary, which early in the season meant Calgary wins. They get off to a good start, they win. If they don't get off to a really good start right out of the gate, then they lose. That storyline's kind of changed. Goodbranson and Gudas were unfriendly early in the game. Tkachuk can't tip one in. The Panthers get a power play, and they score on it. Their power play has been struggling. If they get that going, look out. Hornquist scores there from Huberdeau and Ekblad at 5:58. So I thought I might as well put on the Huberdeau jersey here. Thanks, Dick's Sporting Goods. And then at 7:03, the Flames tie it. It's Johnny Gaudreau from Tkachuk and Shillington. And so it's 1-1. And it was a nice breakaway goal after a really good save by Markstrom. Vetrano then has a break. Markstrom saves on that. And then at 10:04, just past the midway mark, Coleman, who knows Florida from playing in Tampa Bay, scores from Backlund. So it is a 2-1 lead for the Flames. Does not last. Gustav Forsling scores from Montour and Lundell at 13:01. That ties up the game. Coleman was unhappy with Huberdeau on that goal. And just, it's that kind of anger that we would see escalate throughout this game. Both of these teams are known for playing kind of that chippy in-your-face style, and that kind of thing's going to follow. Lucic fires one wide as they try to answer. The Panthers then get a power play, and Thornton scores on the power play from Montour and Verhaeghe at 18:51. So suddenly it's 3-2 for Florida, and it looked like this might be one of those 9-7, 10-8 kind of games. Panthers then press for more before the horn. So it's 3-2 after one. Second period. Early on, Mangiapane has a chance. He's denied. Mammon with a rush chance. That saved. Coleman has a breakaway. He's denied. Markstrom robs Lundell. Panthers were getting transition chances, something that they weren't getting as much when they were struggling, and they're starting to get those again. Those stretch passes, those quick plays on turnovers, they're starting to get that again. The shots 9 minutes into the period were 12-8 for the Panthers. They had 12 shots in 9 minutes. So very good recovery by Markstrom in the second period. Bobrovsky holds as the Flames press. Panthers then press with 5.5 minutes left, and it's in the last minute that Lomberg, former Calgary Flame, scores from Luostarinen and Montour at 19:43. And when you look at this game, it might be better that Bennett didn't play in it, right? So it's 4-2 for Florida. I'm saying that just if you're a Flames fan, might be better if Bennett wasn't in this. So third period, Flames get a power play. That was unsuccessful. There's a rush chance then for the Flames. That's broken up. They had the shot lead at 3-2, 5.5 minutes in. But again, this period felt like at that point that it was being killed off very well by Florida. Sutter was mixing up the lines down by 2, and then on a turnover, Hornquist increases the lead at 5:47. And that's where the dislike really starts to ramp up between these teams. The Flames get a power play. That was unsuccessful, but they're getting a lot of shots. Bobrovsky is stealing it at this point. And then Carlson, who's been pretty good, and one of those under-the-radar young players for Florida, he scores from Verhaeghe and Lundell at 13:04, makes it 6-2. Panthers get a power play. That was unsuccessful, and while they allowed a lot of shots, they didn't allow any goals in the third period. So for the Florida Panthers, 22-7-4 is the record now. Calgary drops to 17-8-6 with the 6-2 victory for the Florida Panthers. Shots in this one, 16-14 in favor of Florida in the first, 21-16 in the second. So this was pond hockey. And then in the third, the shots were 19-8 for Calgary. Final shots, 49-45 in favor of the Flames. There were 94 shots in this game. So people will look and see 8 goals and go, wow, the goaltending wasn't fantastic in that. Actually, goaltending was really good. So the power plays, Calgary 0 for 2, Florida 2 for 3. The hits were 39 to 29 for Florida. It was physical. There were a lot of shots. There were a lot of really good plays. Markstrom saves 39 out of 45. Bobrovsky saves 47 out of 49. Might have been Bobrovsky's best game of the season. And so, yeah, pretty big win there for Florida. So then the question was, what does the other team from Florida do? Well, they're in Columbus. Columbus has got a major problem. Columbus has major problems right now. And it didn't help that they didn't have Werenski tonight, right? It's Vasilevsky versus Korpisalo. There were early chances for both teams. Robinson couldn't bury one. Pretty fast start to this, as in both teams getting opportunities, not a lot of whistles. Puck to the ankle on Peak. That looked like it hurt. Bolts get a power play, and they score on it. So much like Florida, at times the power play for Tampa, not great, but it scores here. It's Palat from point and Hedman at 4:53. So with that, Hedman ties Fox for the lead in scoring among NHL defensemen. Post then for Bellemare. The Bolts press after that. Columbus gets a power play. They don't score on it. And then Palat scores to make it 2-0 from McDonough and Point at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So Palat with 2 goals, Point with 2 assists. And here you go. You got Tampa up 2-0. Bolts then press for another. Columbus, any passes they had seemed to be getting broken up at this stage of the game. The Bolts get a power play. Stamkos has a chance to save. Corey Perry does not. Corey Perry is starting to score at a pretty good clip. So he went, 20 games without a goal? Now I think he's already up to, 9? It's ridiculous. He's at 395 on his career. So he scores from Maroon and Sergachev at 17:27. And yes, when he hits 400, I have to do a video on that. So the last minute, the Bolts pressed too. So they were up 3-0, and they didn't let up. This is where Columbus was really just in trouble, because Tampa Bay, this is a statement game. Second period. Kukan scores in his 3rd game of the year, only his 3rd game due to injury, from Nyquist and Boquist at 40 seconds. So that gives Columbus a little bit of hope, right? Columbus then presses for another. However, on a rush opportunity, Tampa gets that 3-goal lead back. It's Point from Foot and Palat at 141. So Palat and Point with 3 points to that stage of the game. Nice scoring on a rush. However, Nyquist would answer from Peak and Gavrikov at 4:16, showing that Peak took that puck off the ankle, but he was okay. So, yeah, 4-2. And you're like, all right, so if Columbus could get another, nope. Blue Jackets did press for another. Columbus has a 2-on-1. They almost get it, but the Bolts get a power play during that same play. So it's one of those, we really need a goal, and then you take a foolish penalty at the other end of the ice. Stamkos with a blast that's blocked. Columbus clears it. And then there's a delay of game call very quickly after that power play ended that puts Tampa back on the power play. And they score on it. It's Maroon from Perry and Cirelli at 12:19. So that makes it 5-2. Perry with a goal and an assist to this point. And we go to the 3rd period. Bellemare, in the 1st minute of the 3rd period, scores from Ruda 36 seconds in. It's 6-2. That's right where you can say, and it's a laugher. So shots are 5 apiece at 7.5 minutes. Not that it's really all that important at that stage, but it shows like Tampa might have taken their foot off the gas a little bit, because they're up 6-2. Jenner with a rush chance, that's cut off. There's a power play for Columbus. Nothing happening on that. Bolts with a rush chance after the kill. It is Killorn that adds the 7th goal for Tampa from Cirelli and Stamkos at 12:20. Radish then had a net drive that was defended. Columbus gets another power play before the game's over, but the game was over in the 2nd. So Tampa Bay wins 7-2. Again, it felt like a statement game. They go to 22-8-5 with that win. Columbus drops to 15-15-1. And this 31 points here, this 36 points here. They're 5 points back of Boston. And Boston has 2 games in hand on them. So we're getting into territory of Columbus made a good run of it, but they're falling out of contention for a playoff spot. So the shots in this one favor Tampa throughout. 14-7 in the first, 14-8 in the second, 8-7 in the third. I really thought they let up a little bit in the 3rd period, although they got 2 goals. Final shots, 36-22 for Tampa. Power plays, Tampa 3 for 4. Yeah, Columbus 0 for 3. Hits, 17-14 Columbus. Vasilevsky, 20 saves on 22 shots. Korpisalo, 29 saves on 36 shots. So if you're a Tampa fan, you kind of got everything you wanted tonight. You get all the guys that you want to get goals to get those, and Vasilevsky had a decent and relatively light night overall. So there you go. All right, next up, San Jose. The Sharks are in a very similar position to Columbus, that they weren't expected to be in the race. They were in the race, things were going well, but it really feels like San Jose's falling out of it. And this is despite the fact that we know that Edmonton is struggling at this point. So it's Reimer versus Nedeljkovic. There was no Logan Couture for San Jose, which is going to have an effect because Logan Couture is a huge part of their offense. Early press by the Sharks. COL-CHI was a rush. That's denied. Middleton then had a fight with Giovanni Smith. Shots are 3-0 for the Sharks at 4 minutes. I thought they came out pretty well. And it ends pretty quickly after that. Wings press, they draw a power play. They were 0 for 14 coming into this game. Spoiler alert, they're 0 for 17 now, based on tonight's result. So the Sharks did kill it off, making them 0 for 15 at that point. Larkin can't bury one, then as the Wings press after. Hronek has a blasted save. The Wings with the momentum, though, and it's Bertuzzi that opens the scoring for Detroit from Lindstrom and Larkin at 13:02, and that one went off Reimer and in. And he didn't know it went in at first. He was surprised it went in. So again, it's off of a goaltender and in the net. Smith then gets a 5-minute major. It was reviewed, and yes, it was a 5-minute major. Detroit announcers not happy at all. Detroit announcers felt that maybe a 2. I don't think that was a 5. It's a 5. They reviewed it and they said it's a 5, and so we'll see whether or not player safety says anything about it tomorrow, or if they say the 5 in a game that's enough. But Giovanni Smith was out. Not that it mattered. So it's a 5-minute major. 3:16 of that is left to start the second period. Detroit kind of rallied around it though. So first it's Suter, who had a nice strip and then goes in on net and scores at 2:04, and then Bertuzzi scores shorthanded from Rowney and Sider at 2:41, and yeah, they killed that off. Obviously they killed that off, and they made the score 3-0. Now Weatherby would score for San Jose not long after at 4:03 from Burns and Viel, but Suter puts Detroit back up by 3 from Rasmussen and Leddy at 9:32. So Detroit ahead pretty handedly. Shots are 11-5 for the Wings with 9 minutes left. So they were getting about a shot a minute, and 3 of them went in. Milosh versus Gagne fight then takes place, or I thought it was a fight, but they said it was roughing, so 4-on-4. Wings control during that 4-on-4. Burns fires one wide. No sustained pressure for the Sharks at this stage. Power play then for the Sharks. That didn't go very far. With 1:13 left, the Wings get a power play. So that rolls over into the third period. The Sharks finish the kill, and this is where Aiden Hill's in the net as well. Hill had a rough start. Now, Barabanov scores from Hurdle at 1:40. So that makes it a 4-2 game, and then Hill had problems. First, it's Larkin from Raymond and Lindstrom at 3:51, and then it's Fabry at 5:01. And this is where, after that, anytime Aiden Hill made saves, you could hear kind of a Bronx cheer from the Detroit crowd. Understandable at 6-2 at this point. Raymond then with a rush chance, he fires wide. He hasn't had a goal in a while, right? So he's still without that, but he did have just the 1 assist tonight. But still, that's better than nothing, right? So easy path to the Sharks net would continue. A line brawl then breaks out. The Wings end up with a power play, or no, it ended up being a 4-on-4 after everything's all said and done. Actually, no, they did have a power play, and then that was killed off. Gregor then with a rush chance, he fires it wide. As the period plays out, and your final score is 6-2 for Detroit, they go to 16, 15, and 3 with the win. San Jose with the loss goes to 17, 16, and 1. So it's a tough time right now for San Jose. The shots 10-6 for Detroit in the first, 14-12 Detroit in the second, 8-7 San Jose in the third. Final shots 31-26 for the Wings. Both teams 0 for 3 on the power play. Hits 27-14 for San Jose. Reimer saved 20 out of 24, and then Hill saved 5 out of 7. He allowed goals on 2 out of the first 3 shots. Nedeljkovic saves 24 out of 26. And so for Detroit, big win. They needed that because Boston won tonight as well. For San Jose, another tough loss. So we'll see how things go from here, but it is time to change boards. Next up, Colorado and Chicago. So for this game tonight, Chicago, again, if they're going to get into the hunt, they've got to go on a bit of a run. And it looked like tonight they might be able to do it. So it's Kemper versus Fleury. Good start for the Hawks. The shots are 2-1 at 3.5 minutes for them, and they really did have some good momentum going here. Kadri's denied. Then the rebounds fired wide. Rantanen fires one wide as well. The shots are 4-1 for the Hawks at this stage of the game. And then Eric Johnson scores from Kadri at 7:43. So after that, the momentum had shifted, and the Avs get themselves a power play. The Hawks did kill it off, but the shots after that were 10-4 in favor of Colorado. So there's a huge momentum swing, and that's how this game would work. Kane then can't bury one. We had end-to-end chances for both teams. Newhook would score, though, from Aube-Kubel at 13:54. The Avs then get a power play. That was unsuccessful with 35.4 seconds left. The Hawks get their turn on the power play, and that rolls over into the second period. Early in the second, Kane with a chance during that power play. That's killed off, and that chance for Kane was saved. Good start for the Hawks. They needed a goal, and then they get it. 4:47 of the second period, Taves scores from Entwistle and Seth Jones. And 8 minutes into the second period, the shots are 10-2 in favor of Chicago. They came out, and they were so much better in this period than they were for a large portion of the first period. Things get unfriendly with 2:28 left at the Hawks' end. Rantanen with a rush chance that's saved, misses on the rebound. Burakovsky fires one wide. In the last minute, DeHaan was denied. And then Kane almost gets a buzzer beater. Very, very close. But the score is 2-1 in favor of Colorado going into the third. Early in the third, things change a lot. Power play for the Hawks, and then they get 1 minute and 4 seconds of 5-on-3. So what they do is they score 5-on-3. It's DeBrincat scoring from Kane and Seth Jones at 2:18. And then 5-on-4, they score again. It's DeBrincat from Kane and Strome. So at 2:58, all of a sudden, Chicago's in the lead. So again, that's that momentum swing. McKinnon then hits a post on the next shift. So you've got to remember, this is Colorado. They can score in bunches. The Avs did press. The Hawks were doing a good job, I thought, of shot blocking. This is where they mentioned Jack Johnson was out with a lower body injury, would not return for the rest of the night. So they were down to 5 defensemen for Colorado. More pressure by the Avs at 9 minutes, and eventually they get the tying goal. It's Eric Johnson again from Burakovsky and Kadri at 11:44. This is where the debate comes in. So DeBrincat took a high stick, but it was on a follow-through. And follow-throughs aren't supposed to be penalties as far as I could tell. But the announcer even said, I understand it's on a follow-through, but it drew blood, so it should be a 4-minute. And I thought, but if it's a follow-through, it shouldn't be. And that's the standard, is that if I'm bringing my stick back to take a shot, and my stick clips somebody, it's a penalty. If I follow through, and as I'm following through, the stick clips somebody, it's not a penalty. That's always been the way they've called it. So I thought it was weird that he used the term follow through and then argued that it should have been a penalty. If it's a follow through, it's not a penalty. So, but that clearly wasn't something that fans and announcers were happy about. So the Avs then press for the lead. Taves has a chance. Glove save there and held by Fleury. Johnson went for the hat trick. That attempt was saved. Hawks had a 2-on-1. Kemper saves there. And then McKinnon, crossbar. So he hits a post, he hits a crossbar. It's always interesting with Fleury too, because he always rubs the crossbar or rubs the post after the save, or after it makes the save like that. So yeah, we go to overtime. The Avs control on the faceoff. Makar has a chance that's saved. On the next faceoff, the Hawks win it. They controlled it. DeBrincat had a chance that misses wide. A post then for Logan O'Connor. The puck goes the other way. Or yeah, it goes back and forth, and then Jonathan Taves hits the post. This is where I was like, was it Devon Taves? No, it's Jonathan Taves hits the post. So at one end you got Logan O'Connor. The other way you've got Jonathan Taves. See, I want to say Devon Taves. Man. At any rate, one of the prettiest goals of the year ends it at 2:38. Makar, who really understands that Doc's playing the basically defense position. He's not a defenseman, so Makar just loses him. Just shifts gears, and goes forehand, backhand, top shelf. So no chance for Fleury on that one that I could see, and it was a fantastic goal for Makar. And if you want to take that goal and use that as an example of why he should be the winner of the Norris Trophy, go for it. So the Avs win this one 4-3 in overtime. They go to 19-8-2. They've won 2 games now since coming back from their break. They looked very good. Chicago 11, 17, and 5 with the overtime loss. The shots in this one, 14-5 Colorado in the first, 17-7 Chicago in the second. In the third, the shots were 9-8 Colorado. In the overtime, Colorado outshoots them 3-1. Final shots, 33-31 for Colorado. Power plays 0 for 2 for Colorado, 2 for 3 for Chicago. Your hits, 31-29 for Colorado. Kemper saves 28 out of 31. I thought he played well. Fleury played well too, 29 saves on 33 shots. And it was a pretty fun game. So there you go. You're all caught up. Next up, Winnipeg. It almost happened, right? So Jets fans kind of had a scare in this one, which I'd hope that I'd be wrong on. But really, Vejmelka loves playing against Winnipeg, clearly. So it's Hellebuck versus Vejmelka. The shots are 2-1 for the Coyotes 4 minutes in, as they came out with some pretty good opportunities and looking pretty good. Vejmelka was then solid against the Jets when they started getting opportunities. Kessel to Krause. Jets defend on that one. Reichel couldn't bury one in close. And it was a matter of, to me, it was Vejmelka against the Jets and whether or not Vejmelka could win this again. And Svechnikov would score at 17:34 from Morrissey and Vesalainen. One of the many very good opportunities they had. It was a nice rush goal. Nice to see Svechnikov on the board there. And yeah, 17:34 they open the scoring. We then get a power play for the Coyotes with 1 minute and 56 seconds left. That's killed off because there's only 4 seconds in the second period of that, right? Stastny was then close to one in the first minute. Couldn't bury. Jets get a power play. Schmidt with a blast that saved. Connor had one that was saved as well. Lowry's denied as it ends. There were 4 shots on that power play. Vejmelka trying to do it again. Shots are 6-0 for the Jets 4.5 minutes into this period. Yeah, it was all Jets. Krause then with a net drive draws a Coyotes power play. It was killed off. It did manage 2 shots. Jets go to the power play. Ehlers has a blast that saved Morris. He had one saved as well. And then Dubois. He fishes it off of the goal line just before Vejmelka could have got it. And so he puts it in from Connor and Scheifele at 14:40. So that makes it 2-0 for the Jets. DeMello then had a chance saved. Connor has a chance that's blocked. And the Jets get a power play with 27 seconds left. So we're going to the third period as 2-0 Jets. Nothing to worry about, right? Coyotes did kill off the rest. And then when it was back to 5-on-5, they pressured. They played pretty well. Ehlers had a break. Keller defends. And then Gostisbehere scores at 6:41 to make it 2-1. Unassisted. But Jets press at 8.5 minutes. They get a power play. Dubois nearly buries one. It's killed off. Ehlers has a near miss in close, as there were all kinds of Winnipeg opportunities to try to finally finish this game, right? Jets were dominating. Vejmelka was saving it. Hellebuck was nearly fooled on an odd one that I think came from the blue line, but it almost fooled him. And if that had, again, that's one of those ones that if that had gone in, I really think we would be looking at Arizona coming back and winning this, maybe in regulation. So the Coyotes hemmed the Jets in, and it felt like this might have been that trap game. I started thinking about the fact that I wanted to put a trap magnet on this game, and I said, in the end, I didn't. So Lowry had a chance on a turnover. That wouldn't go. They pulled the goaltender with more than 2 minutes left. Keller blasts one high, and then the empty net marker scored in the final minute. It's Ehlers from Scheifele and Dillon at 19:15. So Scheifele with the second assist of the game. Ehlers gets another goal. And the Jets survive a scare. They win this one 3-1. The record now for the Jets is 16-11-5. The Coyotes drop to 6-22-3. But like I've been saying, now when the Arizona Coyotes lose, it's still entertaining. It's not like at the start of the season where it was just awful to try to watch. Shots in this one, 10-7 Winnipeg in the first, 18-10 Winnipeg in the second, and then 21-10 Winnipeg in the third. Arizona had some pressure early and did get that goal, but Winnipeg just poured it on after that. Final shots, 49-27 for the Jets. Power plays, Jets go 0 for 4. Arizona 0 for 2. Hits 21-20 for Winnipeg. Hellebuck saves 26 out of 27, but he's overshadowed by Vejmelka, who saves 46 out of 48. Ridiculous night for Vejmelka, as he continues to show that he's a pretty good goaltender. And we'll see whether or not Arizona can get him some run support. They did show a graph tonight. It wasn't even really a graph. It was just 2 pictures. He gets the least amount of run support for any goaltender in forever. The closest you get is Jamie McLennan with the Minnesota Wild in 2000-2001. 1.26 goals per game coming into today. That's what Vejmelka gets for goal support. That you're not going to win games that way, but here we are. So, all right, moving along. Nashville, again, you've got to watch with Vegas. Vegas is never out of it. That's just not a thing. Vegas is never out of a game. So it's Saros versus Thompson. Thompson making his first start in the NHL. I saw Thompson here in Abbotsford for the Henderson Silver Knights. Yeah, pretty good goaltender. Big goaltender, too. So Saros against Thompson means Saros is a smaller goaltender. I didn't hear that conversation tonight, though. Maybe it was while I was watching one of the other games. Early chances for both teams. Good press by Vegas at 2.5 minutes. Evenly played through the first 8 minutes. And honestly, most of this game was pretty evenly played until it wasn't. But we'll get to that. Thompson denies Forsberg. Nashville gets a power play. Good saves by Thompson. It's killed off. Pressure by the Predators after it's killed off. We then had a fight between Jeannot and COL-CHI. Howden with a rush chance. That's fired wide. Great first period for Thompson. And there you go. Second period. Early chances for Vegas. However, on a turnover, Forsberg ends up getting a goal at 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Granlund and Ekholm with the assists. Vegas tries to answer. Smith can't bury one on a rush. Trennan scores to make it 2-0 from Myers at 7:01. Vegas then gets a power play. That's unsuccessful. And that was the 21st power play in a row that has been killed off by the Nashville Predators. Very good penalty kill. Shots were even through most of this part of the game. Like this first period, second period, a lot of the time the shots were very much even. Pietrangelo has a shot that's saved and held. The emotions go up a little bit. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. This was both late games had a penalty called and an embellishment on the same play. Both late games had that going on, which makes every coach angry. So that way you're making both teams upset. Ekholm fires one wide. Forsberg was denied, but it's 2-0 entering the third period. Cunnin has a rush chance save. Vegas stretch passes being defended. Petro with a blast that wouldn't go, and it was blocked out. I think it was Carrier that blocked that one out. Howden to Patrick was blocked, and then Forsberg scores at 6:08. So Forsberg with his second goal of the game, and it's 3-0. They're up 3-0. That should be it, but it's Vegas, and it's in Vegas. Vegas gets a power play. Last 19 seconds, Marchessault gets a penalty. He didn't like it. Very loud F-bomb that was heard very clearly on the TV. And he slammed the door so hard that the camera that sits on top of the glass, it shook mightily. So Marchessault, not happy about that power play being ended 19 seconds in. I don't think the fans were either. So we then end up with 46 seconds of 4-on-3 for Vegas. So what's interesting with this is that because of the 4-on-3 power play, now both coaches are angry. Both coaches are just absolutely livid with the referee. So when both coaches are mad at the same time, I don't know, does that mean the referee's doing something right or just... yeah, it's one of those things, right? So Vegas calls a timeout. They would pull the goaltender, so it was 5-on-3. It then became a 5-on-4. Granlund then missed the empty net, and everything gets killed off. Howden and Sissons were then unfriendly with one another. Not much happened there other than Howden yanking Sissons' stick away from him. Should have just thrown it. Anyways, that would have been a misconduct, though, so you don't want to do that. And then Vegas breaks the shutout. First, it's Carlson from McNabb and Dodonov at 12:01. And then Vegas looking for another. This is your standard Vegas comeback. Goalie pull with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left. With the goalie pulled, Vegas is very dangerous. They score to make it a one-goal game. It's Theodore from Pietrangelo and Carlson at 18:14. Vegas pulls the goalie again. They had opportunities. They had looks. The comeback falls short. 3-2 is your final. Nashville goes to 21-11-2 with the win. They're very high up in the standings now. With the loss, Vegas 22-13-1. So the race in the Pacific, a little bit different tonight than it was, say, this morning. And with this regulation loss, I guess Anaheim can send a gift basket to Nashville. The shots in this one, 10-8 Nashville in the first, 14-11 Vegas in the second. The third period was ridiculous. Once it became 3-0, honestly, Vegas just all the shots. 21-5 in the third period for Vegas. Final shots, 43-26 for the Vegas Golden Knights, which I don't think accurately depict how this game was until the third period. Your power plays, 0-for-1 for Nashville, 0-for-3 for Vegas. Hits, 55-34 for Nashville. This was, and I want to say like 20 of them were Jeannot, but they weren't. Jeannot is honestly becoming one of my more liked players. I really like Jeannot quite a bit. So Saros saves 41 out of 43. Thompson saves 23 out of 26. And I thought Thompson played well, but yeah, Saros was absolutely fantastic tonight. All right, moving along. Last game of the night, Philadelphia and Anaheim. Philadelphia's got problems. Philadelphia's got issues, and that kind of continues tonight. So it's Hart versus Gibson. Ducks had the early jump. Lindholm hits the post, and then there's a goal that's scored. Initially awarded to Lindholm, but they changed it over to Troy Terry. So he gets the goal from Lindholm and Drysdale at 3:21. The shots are 4-1 for the Sharks for the Ducks at 6 minutes. Would have been weird if the Sharks were leading in shots in a game between the Flyers and the Ducks. So it turns out just the Sharks just showed up, just took the ice, just pushed everybody else off. Yeah, no, that doesn't happen. Now you want to see it happen, though, don't you? Gibson then makes a save on a nice set play off of a face-off by Philly. Terry then makes it a 2-0 game from Drysdale and Lundestrom at 9:41. So before we're halfway through the first period, Anaheim's up 2-0, and I thought, so it's the bad Flyers tonight. Interesting. That was scored on a rush. The Ducks were defending well. The Flyers were stymied until Atkinson opens the scoring for Philly from Farabee and Lawton at 18:42. So it's 2-1 after one. And even though I thought Anaheim played a great game in the first period, they're only up by one. Second period, Comtois has a rush chance. That save. The Ducks get a power play. We then get a minute and 19 of 4-on-4, which the crowd disagreed with because that took Anaheim off the power play. Everything gets killed off. No harm, no foul there. The only foul being the Ducks. I have to say it because if I don't, somebody else will in the comments. Konechny with repeated shots that stayed out. So Konechny was denied from in close. Had to be frustrated by that. Lindholm then had a chance that was saved. Gibson denies Van Riemsdyk. And then the Ducks get a power play. And they score on it. It's Milano from Steele and Raquel at 17:49. So last 2 minutes of the second period, suddenly it's 3-1 in favor of Anaheim. They challenged for goalie interference. I didn't see, like, it's understandable to say, all right, well, the guy who hit our goalie, okay, but he was pushed in by your own defenseman, so it fails. They say, nope, good goal, and so that means another power play. So the Flyers did kill that one off, and they did get a chance after that. So going into the third period, they're down 3-1, but maybe there's some momentum. Early chance for the Flyers. Lindholm has a blast that's saved. Comtois had a rush chance saved as well, same as he did in the second period. This might have been Comtois' best game of the season so far. He is starting to get those opportunities. The goals will start going in for him, I think. I think they will. Some scrumminess after a Hart save takes place. Hayes tries a sharp angle shot, and Mayhew with the rebound opportunity that was saved. And I don't think Hayes was looking for a goal there. He was looking for that kind of a rebound that Mayhew almost puts in. Farabee then had a blast that was blocked out. With 8:04 left, Ristolainen at the Anaheim net, drawing himself a crowd. It's what Risto does. We then get 2 minutes of 4-on-4 out of that. Hart denied Lettieri. 4 minutes and 11 seconds left. We get 4-on-4. The Flyers call a timeout. They do what you got to do. They pull the goaltender, so it's a 5-on-4. Atkinson almost got another goal there. And, a lot of almosts. With 2:18 left, the Flyers take a penalty, and that's going to end it, right? So they pulled the goaltender to get to 5-on-5 with a minute and a half left. That allows the empty net goal by the Anaheim Ducks. It's Terry with his first career hat trick from Comtois at 19:11. So Troy Terry's heating up again. Great news for the Ducks. There was even a play here tonight where Milano tried the flip over the net, but Zegras wasn't there to put it in. That would have been the opposite, of course, of what happened when Zegras throws it out and Milano bats it in the net. But it is an effort. It's a try, and at some point, I think that might be not a commonly seen goal, but we won't have as much of a reaction to it. So your final score is 4-1 for the Ducks. Philadelphia drops back below NHL 500 at 13, 14, and 6, but they've won 13 out of 33 games. So this is a problem. The Ducks are now 18, 11, and 7. They've won exactly half of their games so far. And so, yeah, Anaheim's playing pretty well. Shots, 9-5 Anaheim, at least they did tonight. 9-5 Anaheim in the first, 9 apiece in the second. In the third, 15-12 for Philadelphia. Final shots, 30-29 for Anaheim. Power plays, 0-1 for Philly, 2-4 for Anaheim, so their power play gets going. Hits, 24-16 Philadelphia. Hart saves 26 out of 29. And Gibson saves 28 out of 29. So there you go. The Anaheim Ducks, maybe going home is exactly what they needed to get themselves going. And for Philly, they need to go home. They need to get this together because, again, they've won 13 out of 33. it's going to be tough for them to dig their way out of this. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding any of the 8 games that were played. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.